Welcome back, everyone, and prepare to be bedazzled, because today I'm going to be shedding light on my story appertaining to why I quit buying action figures amid the late 2000s. So, why did I desist, abstain, refrain from buying action figures amid the latter half of the 2000s? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. Lamentably, much to my dismay, much to my consternation, much to my chagrin, much to my distress, much to my grief and irritation, I did so begrudgingly. I yearned to buy additional action figures amid the latter half of the 2000s, but lamentably, it was not in the cards to do so, metaphorically speaking, due to having a dearth of financial resources, to say the least. When you have scant financial resources, it precludes you, it preempts you, it averts you from being able to buy action figures. So, I ceased buying action figures shortly after ToyBiz became defunct. That was quite a calamitous moment, to say the least. It was quite tragic, to say the least, to bear witness to ToyBiz becoming defunct. They produced the quintessential Marvel Legends action figures. If you recollect, they had 32 to 40 points of articulation. They had high-quality sculpts, high-quality designs, high-quality shadings, high-quality aesthetics, high-quality textures, high-quality accessories, and they had latitude for dynamic posability. So, I commenced high school amid the mid-2000s, and it just profusely drained me of my sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, invaluable time that cannot be replenished, that cannot be recuperated once it is depleted. No one should be corralled. No one should be ushered into a K-12 insalubrious 13-year concentration camp. People should be at liberty to allocate their sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, invaluable time as they deem fit. So when you attend the K-12 insalubrious 13-year concentration camp, it not only stunts your growth physically, mentally, and spiritually, but it also profusely sets you back by at least 13 years. It dispossesses you of at least 37,440 hours of your sacrosanct, indispensable, finite, precious, invaluable time, and it creates a calamitous recipe for drawing force, indigence, destitution, and extreme poverty. How so, you may ask? Well, if you're dispossessed of almost 38,000 hours, then is going to preempt you from being able to cultivate behemoth brands, and it's going to preempt you from being able to build up your recurring revenue streams. The only way to get out of poverty, the only way to pull yourself out of the muck and mire, is to have your recurring revenue streams as an aggregate generate enough revenue to offset your recurring expenses. That's the only way to get out of poverty. You do not want to have your revenue streams on manual pilot. You do not want to borrow equity out of your time, dignity, health, happiness, and future wealth just for a pittance of ephemeral, fleeting, evanescent, short-term relief that is preordained to perish. You want to be shrewd, judicious, and prudent. You want to be wise. You want to be able to strategically earmark your time and not needlessly squander it. You do not want your time to fritter away. Your time is precious and valuable, sacrosanct, and indispensable. Do not needlessly dispossess yourself of your time. But, lamentably, at that juncture, at that confluence of time and space, I had no purview over how my time was allocated. Under duress, I had to attend the K-12 insalubrious 13-year concentration camp, and that set me up for succumbing to extreme poverty. It is unfortunate, but it is what it is. So when you have a dearth of financial resources, when you have scant financial resources, it is going to adversely impinge on your ability to buy action figures, to say the least. When I was matriculated at high school, I was enrolled in a physics course as well as a chemistry course, and I was just inundated. I was deluged. I was overwhelmed with needless homework assignments. It's all boondoggles. You do not reap anything out of attaining a high GPA. There is no benefit. It's not beneficent. It has no bearing on helping you to attain a job. There's no employed job that you can attain with a high school diploma that you cannot attain with a GED. Furthermore, having a bachelor's degree, having a master's degree, and even having a doctorate will not have any bearing on helping you to attain even a semi-decent employee job. You're more than likely going to be vying against 10,000 plus applicants, and the jobs are reserved for people who are best friends with the hiring manager, or they're reserved for the hiring manager's relatives. People are acutely unaware about nepotism and how it adversely impinges on their ability to attain a semi-decent employee job if they lack a strong interpersonal relationship with a hiring manager. Vacancies for semi-decent paying employee jobs are far and few. And if there is one, you're inapt to attain it over another candidate who has befriended the hiring manager. It's all arbitrary who attains a employee job. It's not a system of meritocracy, to say the least. It does not matter if you have maxed out credentials, maxed out qualifications, and have all the requisite competencies and skills to masterfully perform the employee job. But that's a topic that can be relegated to another video. So I thought it would have been too much of an owner's burden to work a full-time employee job while matriculated at graduate school. I earned my bachelor's degree in a 3-year time window, and I also thought that it could adversely compromise my ability to attain a high GPA if I had the owner's burden of committing to an employee job for 55 to 60 hours a week. So buying action figures at that juncture was a foregone opportunity, and you wind up succumbing to paying scalper prices for figures if you decide to buy them in the pending future post them being sold out at retail stores. If you buy them from scalpers, you're going to pay exorbitant, lofty, steep premium prices to procure them. However, since they control the entirety of the supply in the second-hand market, you're at their mercy. Will they show any clemency? Well, they are apt to offer prices that are even anywhere remotely close to the action figures retail prices. So when you defer implementing purchasing decisions, when you forgo buying action figures at their lowest possible price points, which is typically when they're released at retail stores, if they're desirable action figures, then it culminates in you paying top dollar for them in the pending future if you decide to purchase them in the pending future. So, lamentably, it is what it is. If you're dispossessed of your time, it preempts you from being able to cultivate behemoth brands across social media platforms, and it precludes you from being able to build up your recurring revenue streams. And as I stated earlier, the only way to get out of poverty is to have your recurring revenue streams as an aggregate generate enough revenue to offset your recurring expenses. You want to know your revenue streams on autopilot and not on manual pilot. It is inefficacious if your revenue streams are on manual pilot. And you also want to work in capacities that have an unlimited, uncapped, unfettered earnings potential. And not working capacities in which your earnings potential is tethered to your sacrosanct, finite, precious, and valuable time, to say the least. In hindsight, in retrospect, when I reflect on the situation at hand, it's not only a pensive moment, it's not only a tragic experience to harp on, but it's also just part of life. If you lack the requisite financial resources to buy action figures, and if it's too much of an owner's burden to be a full-time student while simultaneously working a full-time employee job, then it is what it is. If I had purview over my time, if I was at liberty to allocate my time as I deemed fit amid the latter half of the 2000s, when I more than likely would have not desisted, abstained, and refrained from buying action figures at that juncture. You're unable to generate wealth when your time is earmarked towards pursuing non-revenue generating activities against your own volition. People should be at liberty to decide how their time is earmarked. They should never be ushered in to a K-12 insalubrious 13-year concentration camp. They should never be sentenced to a 13-year insalubrious K-12 concentration camp. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We live in a control market economy, and during their early life years, people are not at liberty to choose how to allocate their precious and valuable, sacrosanct, indispensable, finite time. And it is inhumane that they do not have jurisdiction, that they do not have purview, that they do not have autonomy over their time. It's an encroachment on their inalienable right to allocate their time as they deem fit. Their time should not be relinquished attending K through 12 insalubrious 13-year concentration camps against their own volition. They should be at liberty to be a pioneer of their own destiny. They should be at liberty to follow their own pathway in life. When you're dispossessed of your time, you have no purview over how you live your life. Your life should be your life to live. Other people should not have jurisdiction over how your time is allocated. So, I hope that you deem this video to be insightful, enthralling, mesmerizing, captivating, riveting, and engrossing. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.